Creativity is not an exclusive domain reserved for a chosen few or those who engage in traditional arts. Instead, it is a universal quality inherent in all of us. Many of us hesitate to identify ourselves as artists because we associate creativity with exceptional talent, thinking it's a rare gift bestowed only upon the specially skilled. However, this perspective misses the essence of what creativity truly is. It's not a privilege for the elite. It is a fundamental part of being human, a birthright, accessible to everyone. At its core, creativity is simply the act of bringing something into existence that wasn't there before. It isn't confined to painting a canvas or composing music. It extends to every aspect of daily life. Each conversation we have, each problem we solve, or even something as simple as rearranging furniture to create a sense of harmony, embodies this act of creation. Creativity can manifest in writing a note to a friend, finding a new route to avoid traffic, or adding a personal touch to an otherwise mundane task. These small moments are just as valid and profound as the most celebrated works of art. What makes creativity so universal is its constant presence. Whether we realize it or not, we are always creating. Every day, through a symphony of sensory impressions, we piece together our understanding of the world. The external universe is not something we perceive passively. Rather, it's something we actively construct. Our senses gather fragmented data from the field of undifferentiated matter around us. We process these fragments: forests, oceans, warmth, voices, and weave them into a reality we call our own. In this way, every person is a creator, constantly curating their experience of life, moment by moment. This isn't just about shaping the world outside of us. It's about engaging with the inner landscapes that guide our perception. Even if we aren't consciously creating art, we are living as artists in the way we perceive, interpret, and respond to our surroundings. The process is deeply personal. It involves filtering, collecting, and arranging impressions to construct meaning. Sometimes this happens consciously, other times it unfolds without our awareness. Either way, our entire life becomes a canvas, and we are constantly shaping it, choice by choice. To live creatively is to cultivate a heightened sensitivity, an ability to notice subtleties that might otherwise go unseen. It requires paying attention to what stirs us, what resonates, and what feels discordant. This way of being invites us to approach life with a sense of wonder and curiosity, allowing ourselves to be drawn toward what inspires and moved away from what doesn't align. It's a practice of remaining open, refining our perception, and being attuned to the interplay of feelings, thoughts, and energies that surround us. Over time, this approach transforms our entire existence into an act of self-expression. In this process, no two creations or lives are the same. Each person's experience, filtered through their unique perspective, becomes a singular work of art. You don't need an audience or validation for this creative expression to matter. Whether it is witnessed or remains private, it is still profoundly valuable. In every moment, we are shaping not only how we see the world but also how the world sees us. It's a dynamic exchange, a dance between the creator and the creation. This view of creativity challenges conventional ideas about what it means to make something. It shifts the focus from producing tangible outcomes to embracing a way of being. Creativity is not bound by physical artifacts or grand accomplishments. It's not about recognition or success. Instead, it's about embodying the creative spirit in everything we do, finding beauty and meaning in even the smallest acts of everyday life. When approached with this mindset, life itself becomes a masterpiece of vibrant and ever-evolving expression of our connection to the world and our place within it. The creative process is not something that exists solely within the mind of the artist. It is an extension of the universe itself, a reflection of the natural rhythms that shape everything around us. Just as trees blossom in spring, rivers carve new paths, and clouds gather to release rain, creativity flows as part of the same cosmic unfolding. Everything on this planet, from the smallest blade of grass to the grandest cathedral, is an expression of this energy. Artists, too, are participants in this endless cycle of creation, their work arising as naturally as the fruit on a tree or the song of a bird. What distinguishes human creativity is our role as conduits for this universal energy. The ideas and inspirations that come to us are not entirely our own. They belong to the larger world and flow through us, seeking form. Sometimes, this creative energy feels almost otherworldly, as if it comes from a source beyond conscious understanding. Many great artists have likened themselves to antennae, sensitive instruments attuned to the unseen frequencies of the universe. These transmissions may feel like whispers or sudden bursts of clarity, but they always carry a sense of purpose, as if they were waiting for just the right moment to be expressed. There is a mysterious timing to the creative process, a rhythm we do not control but are invited to align with. Ideas have their own seasons, just like nature. When an idea's time has come, it will find its way into the world through you or someone else. It's not uncommon for artists to feel a sense of urgency about a project, only to later discover someone else created something remarkably similar. This isn't a coincidence or theft. It's a sign that the idea's moment has arrived. The universe moves in cycles, and we are simply part of its unfolding. To participate fully in this process, we must learn to listen. The best artists are often those who are most open, those whose antennae are finely tuned to pick up on the subtle signals around them. This sensitivity isn't always easy. It can make the world feel overwhelming or even painful. But it is also what allows artists to perceive things others might overlook, to translate raw energy into something tangible. Creativity requires both openness and receptivity, a willingness to let go of control and trust the flow of inspiration. Sometimes the creative process feels like riding a wave. Cultural movements, whether they be abstract expressionism, punk rock, or Bauhaus architecture, arise like tides, sweeping through society and carrying artists with them. Those who are attuned to these movements can position themselves to ride the wave, drawing energy from the collective spirit of the moment. Others might choose to swim against the current, forging their own path. Both approaches are valid, as long as they are true to the artist's vision. The act of tuning into creativity is not about force or effort. It's about creating the space for inspiration to emerge. The more we can quiet the noise of daily life, whether through meditation, reflection, or simply paying attention, the more likely we are to receive the signals being sent to us. These signals are often subtle, arriving in the form of fleeting thoughts, feelings, or images. They don't conform to logic or reason. They are intuitive and ephemeral, like dreams. The key is to remain open and trust that what comes will guide us toward what needs to be expressed. Children embody this openness naturally. They live in a state of wonder, unburdened by preconceived notions or fears of failure. They accept new ideas with delight, respond to the world with curiosity, and create without attachment to outcome. As we grow older, we often lose this sense of freedom, weighed down by judgment and analysis. Yet the most enduring artists manage to preserve this childlike quality, staying connected to the spontaneity and innocence that fuel creativity. By doing so, they align themselves with the natural rhythms of the universe, allowing their work to emerge effortlessly and authentically. Creativity, then, is not about invention but translation. The ideas, emotions, and energies that come to us already exist. Our role is to bring them into the physical world. This process is not something we control, but something we participate in. By remaining open, sensitive, and attuned to the flow of life around us, we become vessels for the universe's creative energy, sharing its messages with the world in ways only we can. Cultivating creativity is a lifelong practice, one that requires us to embrace our role as both vessels and filters of the world around us. Each of us carries within a container a vessel into which life pours its experiences, emotions, and impressions. This vessel is constantly filling, shaped by everything we encounter. But what enters isn't purely raw material. It's filtered through our unique perceptions, memories, and biases. Our senses and minds, limited by their capacities, reduce the vastness of the world into fragments we can process. This is why no two people will create or perceive in exactly the same way. To cultivate creativity, we must refine the filter through which we experience the world. Many of the filters we rely on were formed in childhood, when we learned to focus on what seemed most essential for survival and tune out the rest. Yet, as creators, we're called to go back to a state of childlike wonder, where we once again notice the small details, the subtleties, and the beauty we've been conditioned to overlook. This openness allows us to reconnect with the raw, unprocessed material of life. Creativity thrives on practice, not as a mechanical repetition of tasks but as a way of living. Practice means actively engaging with the world, training ourselves to notice more, to feel more, and to remain curious. It could be as simple as taking a mindful walk in nature, allowing the colors, sounds, and textures to soak into your awareness. Or it might involve small, deliberate rituals that ground you in the present, breathing deeply upon waking, savoring your meals slowly, or marveling at the rhythm of your heartbeat before sleep. These practices aren't ends in themselves. They are ways to expand your sensitivity, to make noticing a default state of being. Through consistent practice, we align ourselves more closely with the rhythms of the universe. By observing the cycles of nature, day turning to night, the changing seasons, the phases of the moon, we begin to see ourselves as part of a larger whole, constantly regenerating and evolving. This connection is essential to creativity because it reminds us that we are not separate from the energy that fuels all creation. When we participate in these cycles, we tap into their power, riding the wave of their momentum. One of the most profound ways to hone creativity is by immersing ourselves in great works. Literature, art, music, architecture, and cinema, all these offer pathways to deepen our understanding of what's possible. By surrounding ourselves with greatness, we calibrate our internal compass. We sharpen our ability to discern what resonates deeply and what falls flat. It's not about mimicking others but about refining our taste, expanding our vision, and elevating our standards for our own work. Even something as simple as spending a year reading classic literature instead of consuming fleeting media can transform the way we see the world and create within it. This process of calibration isn't limited to art. It extends to every choice we make, from the conversations we engage into the people we surround ourselves with. Everything influences the way we perceive and interpret the world, and by carefully curating these influences, we elevate our capacity for creativity. Even seemingly small shifts, choosing to experience the best food available, for example, can refine your sense of quality and attune you to the extraordinary. Yet, amid all these practices, it's crucial to remember that creativity is not about perfection. It's about discovery. Each act of creation, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, contributes to a larger journey. Each piece of work is a stepping stone, an experiment, an exploration of what's possible. Through this process, we develop not only our craft but also our way of seeing, our way of being. The goal is not to create one perfect work but to live a life that is itself a continuous act of creation. Ultimately, cultivating creativity is about expanding our awareness of the world and our place within it. By noticing more, feeling more, and engaging more deeply, we enrich both our art and our lives. It's not about striving to create for the sake of output, but about living in such a way that creativity becomes inevitable. Through practice, immersion, and connection, we transform not only what we make but who we are. Obstacles to creativity are an inherent part of the process, often shaping the journey as much as the act of creation itself. These challenges are not barriers to be avoided but opportunities to deepen our understanding of ourselves and our work. Among the most universal of these obstacles is self-doubt, that persistent inner voice questioning our abilities, our ideas, and our worthiness. While self-doubt can feel like an enemy, it serves a purpose. It is a reflection of our humanity, a reminder that imperfection is not only inevitable but essential. It's the flaws in both the creator and the creation that make art resonate on a deeper level. Without them, the work would feel lifeless, devoid of the vulnerability that makes it relatable and real. Self-doubt often arises from the mistaken belief that we are in competition with others or with an imagined ideal. But creativity is not a contest. It's an expression of self. The work we create is uniquely ours, and only we can bring it into existence. While doubts may persist, the act of creating in spite of them is a testament to our courage and commitment. Many of the greatest artists have shared this struggle, their sensitivity to criticism and fear of judgment coexisting with their drive to create. It's this tension that often fuels their most powerful work. Another common obstacle is distraction, which, if used skillfully, can become an ally rather than a hindrance. When faced with creative blockages, stepping away from the work to engage in a simple, unrelated activity can create space for solutions to emerge. Whether it's walking, washing dishes, or driving, these moments of disengagement allow the subconscious mind to process and generate new ideas. Distraction, when intentional, isn't procrastination. It's a strategy that allows creativity to flourish in unexpected ways. At times, the stakes we set for ourselves become the greatest obstacle. The belief that our current project must be groundbreaking or flawless can paralyze us, trapping us in a cycle of perfectionism. The antidote is to lower the stakes, to see the work as a step in a longer journey rather than a definitive statement. Each creation is part of a larger rhythm, an ongoing process of learning and discovery. By embracing this perspective, we free ourselves to experiment, play, and create without fear of failure. Imperfections, often seen as flaws, can also be reframed as sources of strength. The Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold, celebrates the cracks and scars as integral parts of the object's history and beauty. Similarly, the imperfections in our work can become its most memorable and meaningful elements. They tell a story, adding depth and authenticity that polished perfection could never achieve. While self-doubt and distractions are internal, external pressures can also interfere with the creative process. These might come from the expectations of others, the demands of the market, or cultural trends that conflict with our intuitive direction. Staying true to our vision requires listening to our inner voice above the noise, even when it feels uncertain or risky. Following the flow of the universe, rather than the dictates of external forces, allows us to create with authenticity and integrity. Creativity is inherently vulnerable. It requires us to expose parts of ourselves that might feel raw or incomplete. But it is precisely this vulnerability that connects us to others. Art builds a bridge between the creator and the audience, allowing both to find meaning, healing, and inspiration. By confronting and embracing the obstacles to creativity, we deepen not only our work but also our connection to the world around us. These challenges are not distractions from the path, they are the path. Through them, we grow, transform, and discover the true essence of what it means to create. Nature is one of the most profound teachers for creativity, offering lessons that are both subtle and transformative. Its patterns, rhythms, and infinite variety provide endless inspiration, reminding us of the boundless possibilities inherent in the creative process. Unlike the human-made world, which often seeks order and control, nature embraces imperfection, change, and unpredictability. This openness to flux and imperfection is at the heart of what makes creativity so dynamic and alive. When we immerse ourselves in nature, we experience a world that is constantly evolving. The light shifts throughout the day, shadows stretch and recede, leaves flutter in the wind, and the colors of the sky blend into hues no artist could replicate. Every moment spent observing nature is a moment of discovery, a chance to notice something we've never seen before. Even the most familiar landscapes are never truly the same twice. A walk in the woods or along the shore can become a meditation, an opportunity to witness the endless interplay of form, color, and movement. Nature's lessons often go beyond what we see on the surface. The cycles of the moon, the ebb and flow of tides, and the changing seasons remind us that everything has its time. Creativity, too, moves in cycles. There are moments of growth, when ideas blossom effortlessly, and moments of dormancy, when the mind feels quiet and still. These periods of rest are not failures but necessary parts of the process, much like winter prepares the earth for spring. Nature teaches us to honor these rhythms, to trust that the creative energy will return when the time is right. Beyond its aesthetic inspiration, nature offers a deeper connection to the essence of who we are. When we observe its harmony, we recognize that we are not separate from it. We, too, are part of this interconnected system. The flowing rivers, the resilient trees, and the shifting sands are not just around us, they are within us. This realization dissolves the illusion of isolation, allowing us to approach creativity not as individuals working alone but as participants in a greater whole. What we create is not just an expression of ourselves but of our connection to the infinite oneness of existence. In nature, we also encounter imperfection, but it is never a flaw. The crooked branch of a tree, the jagged edge of a mountain, or the scattered patterns of fallen leaves are all testaments to the beauty of unpredictability. These irregularities carry a sense of authenticity and truth that resonates deeply. When we embrace this lesson, we let go of the need for perfection in our own work, finding instead the beauty in its imperfections. A painting, a poem, or a melody need not be flawless to be powerful, it needs only to be real. Spending time in nature is not just an exercise in observation. It's an act of communion. When we notice the intricate veins of a leaf, the shimmer of sunlight on water, or the complex interplay of colors in a sunset, we are reminded of the infinite palette available to us. Nature's diversity dwarfs any tool or system humans have created. No manufactured color chart can replicate the hues found in a single stone or the texture of bark on a tree. By immersing ourselves in this richness, we expand our creative vocabulary, opening ourselves to combinations and contrasts we might never have imagined. Nature also has the power to strip away the distractions of modern life, allowing us to reconnect with our most authentic selves. In the stillness of a forest or the vastness of the ocean, we are reminded of what truly matters. These moments of clarity can reignite our creative spark, grounding us in the present and freeing us from the noise of overthinking. When we create with this connection to the natural world, our work carries an authenticity and depth that resonates with others on a profound level. Ultimately, nature teaches us that creativity is not about mastery or control but about participation. It invites us to be present, to listen, and to respond. Whether we are sketching the outline of a tree, writing a story inspired by the changing seasons, or simply sitting quietly and observing the play of light and shadow, we are engaging in a dialogue with the world around us. Through this dialogue, we are reminded that the act of creation is not something we impose on the world but something we discover within it. In this way, nature doesn't just inspire creativity, it becomes an integral part of it. Art transcends the tangible. While the world often associates creativity with physical outcomes, paintings, books, films, or music, it is ultimately about something much deeper. The act of creation is not just about producing objects to fill shelves or galleries. It is a journey into the unseen. Creativity offers us a glimpse into a realm beyond logic, beyond explanation. It connects us with something greater than ourselves, something that words and reason alone cannot fully capture. Through the process of creation, we explore this mysterious, spiritual dimension, sharing fragments of it with the world. This unseen realm is not bound by the limitations of the physical or the rational. Unlike the rigid framework of science or the precision of engineering, the spiritual aspect of creativity invites us into a boundless space of possibility. It is not a world we can measure or define, yet it resonates deeply within us. For some, this connection may be interpreted as faith, for others as magic. Regardless of the label, what matters is the energy it brings, a force that enriches the creative process with meaning and wonder. Many creators describe moments when inspiration seems to arrive unbidden, as though guided by an external force. These moments of serendipity, the perfect line overheard in a conversation, an unexpected color palette in the sky, or a fleeting idea that feels too timely to be coincidence, speak to this unseen dimension. It feels as though the universe itself is nudging us forward, whispering the next step in our creative journey. This doesn't require proof or explanation. It only requires faith. Faith in the process, faith in ourselves, and faith in the world around us. Art becomes a bridge to the unseen. A beautiful painting, a moving piece of music, or an eloquent poem can evoke emotions and ideas that defy articulation. These creations transport us beyond our everyday existence, opening doors to something more profound. When a work of art takes our breath away, when it touches a part of us we didn't know existed, it is connecting us to this greater energy. It reminds us that we are not alone, that there is something vast and infinite that links us all. The unseen is also deeply personal. Each artist has their own way of accessing it, their own rituals and practices to tune into this deeper source. For some, It's about solitude creating in quiet, reflective spaces far from distractions. For others, it might be about engaging with the noise and chaos of the world, drawing inspiration from the rhythm of humanity. Whatever the method, the goal is the same: to tap into a flow that cannot be forced or manufactured, but only allowed. Creativity often demands that we step into uncertainty, trusting in the process even when the path ahead is unclear. This trust is what allows artists to embrace experimentation, to follow instincts that may not immediately make sense. It's why so many great works begin with a spark of intuition, a melody, an image, a phrase, and evolve in ways the artist could never have anticipated. The unseen operates beyond our conscious mind, beyond our plans and strategies. It invites us to surrender control and become vessels for something larger. This surrender can feel daunting, especially in a world that values logic, productivity, and measurable results. Yet, the most profound creations emerge when we let go of these expectations. By embracing the unseen, we move beyond the limitations of what we know and open ourselves to the limitless potential of what could be. It is here that true originality resides, not in the imitation of existing ideas, but in the discovery of something entirely new. What makes this process even more powerful is its ripple effect. The energy captured in a work of art doesn't stop with its creation. When shared, it becomes a source of inspiration for others, inviting them to connect with the unseen in their own way. A single poem or painting can awaken something in the viewer or listener, reminding them of their own connection to the vast, mysterious whole. Through this exchange, creativity becomes a shared experience, a collective exploration of the invisible threads that bind us all. In the end, the unseen is not just a source of inspiration, it is the essence of creativity itself. It is what transforms a simple act of making into something transcendent. It reminds us that art is more than just a product. It is a portal, a way of seeing and being that expands our understanding of the world and our place within it. By embracing the unseen, we open ourselves to infinite possibilities, not only as creators but as participants in the great, unfolding creative act of existence itself. Living a creative life is about embracing the constant flux of the world and ourselves. Nothing in life is static, everything changes, grows, evolves. The creative process mirrors this truth, as the artist is never the same person twice. The work we create today is shaped by who we are in this moment, but tomorrow we will see the world through new eyes, altered by experiences, thoughts, and emotions. This perpetual state of transformation is not a challenge to overcome but the very foundation of creativity itself. Every day, the world offers something new to notice. A beam of light might fall differently across a room. A familiar song might evoke a new feeling, or a simple conversation might spark an unexpected thought. Even the most ordinary moments are rich with potential if we learn to look deeply. The more we cultivate our ability to pay attention, the more we expand our awareness of the ever-changing beauty that surrounds us. Creativity thrives on this expanded awareness, drawing inspiration from the shifting details of life. But change doesn't only occur outside of us. Within, we are just as fluid. Our thoughts shift, our emotions ebb and flow, and even our bodies renew themselves on a cellular level. This inner dynamism means that our perspective on a piece of work can shift dramatically from one day to the next. What felt complete yesterday might seem lacking today. What once inspired confidence might now feel uncertain. This is not a sign of inconsistency but of growth. To live a creative life is to embrace this evolution, allowing ourselves and our work to continually transform. Creativity, then, becomes a dialogue between the artist and the moment. It requires us to remain present, to meet each day and each idea with openness and curiosity. When we step into this state of presence, we discover that no creative act is ever truly finished. Every work is a snapshot of a particular time, a reflection of a particular version of ourselves. The process of creation is ongoing, stretching beyond any single project or goal. Each piece we create is both an ending and a beginning, a stepping stone to the next. This openness to change also means embracing the unexpected. The creative life is not about rigid plans or fixed outcomes. It's about being willing to follow where inspiration leads, even when the path is unclear. Sometimes, this requires letting go of control, trusting that the process itself will reveal the way forward. By surrendering to this flow, we allow ourselves to connect with something larger than our individual vision, a collective, universal rhythm that guides all acts of creation. Living creatively also means seeing life itself as art. Every decision, every interaction, every thought is an act of expression. The way we arrange our homes, the conversations we choose to have, the paths we walk, all of these are part of our creative imprint. When we approach life with this mindset, we find inspiration everywhere. The mundane becomes extraordinary. The ordinary becomes profound. Importantly, this perspective frees us from the pressure to create perfect works. If life itself is art, then everything we do carries creative value. The mistakes, the imperfections, the unfinished projects, all of these are part of the larger masterpiece of our lives. By letting go of the need for perfection, we make space for experimentation, for play, for discovery. Creativity becomes less about achieving a specific outcome and more about engaging with the process, moment by moment. The creative life is not reserved for those who make traditional art. It is a way of being that anyone can adopt. It is about curiosity, openness, and a willingness to see the world and ourselves anew each day. It's about understanding that creation is not something we do but something we are. To live creatively is to align ourselves with the natural rhythms of change and growth, to find joy in the unfolding, and to see every moment as an opportunity to participate in the infinite act of creation. Through this way of being, we not only create art, we become art. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the creative act, a way of being. We hope this exploration has inspired you to see creativity not just as an action, but as a way of life, a continuous dialogue with the world, shaped by curiosity, openness, and connection. Remember, creativity is not about perfection or comparison. It's about expression, growth, and embracing the ever-changing flow of life. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into transformative ideas and inspiring books. Let us know in the comments which part resonated with you most and what creative practices you'll take into your own life. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and remember you are a creator in every moment. Thanks for watching.